Administrative committee meeting to order. I'll lead us in an invocation. Would you like to lead us in a pledge, please? Our most gracious, loving Heavenly Father, we come to you today, dear Lord, and we just want to ask that you be with us through this meeting, dear Lord. Just give us some insight and give us the ability to just use common sense, dear Lord, in the things we do, and to look for the betterment of the parish and everything that we do, dear Lord. We just thank you for all the blessings you give us. Thank you for the way you've blessed this parish, and we just pray that you just continue to. We ask all these things in your blessed holy name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay, do we have a president's report, Mr. Jones?
Sir, not today, Mr. Holmes.
Okay. We're down to item E, legal counsel's report. Please, ma'am.
None.
None. Item F, we have a call for additions and deletions to the agenda. All right. Item G, guest and public comments. We have Miss Jerry Burrell.
She's not here.
I beg your pardon?
She's out today.
She's gonna be out? She's in the hospital? Oh, goodness. Okay. Any other guest or public comments for today? All right, moving on. Administrative items. Item number 2, authorize the president sign a resolution approving a payment in lieu of tax agreement in accordance with the term sheet, requesting the Northwest Louisiana Finance Authority enter into said payment in lieu of tax agreement and providing for other matters with respect thereto. And this is for the Ajax operation. I hear a motion.
So move.
I have a motion by Mr. Jones, second
Second.
by Mr. Ross. Any discussion on this? All right, if not, we'll vote on item number 2. All right, item pass. Item number 3, authorize the president to sign a resolution approving a payment in lieu of tax agreement in accordance with a term sheet, requesting the Northwest Louisiana Finance Authority enter into said payment in lieu of tax agreement and providing for other matters with respect thereto, and that's the Chapman facility.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Simpson. Second, anyone?
Second.
Second by Mr. Clark. Any discussion on this item? If not, we'll vote. Item pass. Ms. Simpson. Item number 4, authorize the president to sign a contract with Unity Fiber for new internet provider.
So moved.
Have a motion by Ms. Simpson,
Second for discussion.
second by Mr. Jones. Is there anybody here that can tell us anything about this, Donald? I guess you'd be the one to speak on this. You could, yes, please.
Yeah, 'cause I haven't heard it. Unity Fiber.
I think over the last couple of months, a lot of you might have realized that we've been having a lot of internet outages here, and a lot in Mansfield as well. This is to get a separate ISP, which is an internet service provider, brought in here to eventually replace what we currently have, because it's just not very reliable. And it's pretty much at the same price. So that's just, we brought this to you so you could sign off on it, so we can have a little bit more business continuity than what we have here right now. We're just having too many outages. I mean, one time, yeah, twice, but we've had 8 outages in the last 2 months. And that's just that's about 7.5 too much, so. So this is just to replace the ISP. That's really what this is. Anybody have any questions?
You guys have vetted them pretty well.
We currently use them at the road department, the animal shelter, and the ballpark, and we're trying to shoot a shot over to the airport. So we've been on them for over a year already at other locations. But this is just to replace here in the OCS department, which is currently on Pelican Broadband.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion on that item? If not, we'll vote. All right, motion passed. Item number 5, discuss and take action related to the funding and scope of the covered arena to complement the DeSoto 4-H organization. Do I have a motion?
So I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ross. Any discussion on the arena? Did you want to come up here, Mr. Michael Rister?
In your packet, I wrote the like a synopsis of what the history has been on this project. Last year in October, the jury wrote a letter of support for us to apply for the Equine Promotion Board, and we received a $50,000 grant. Since then, the state has designated in Act 461 $125,000 for a covered arena, and the words that we're using is that would complement the DeSoto 4-H organization, is how we worded that grant. That's where that language came from, but really we're not locked into that language other than that $50,000 for that grant that we applied for. But that's the way we pitched it as part of the horse club that they established at that time, and we received that money, and we're looking to move forward with the design and construction of that facility with the jury's approval. You can see a breakdown. We have, in addition to that $125,000, we were in hopes that the $175,000 that the jury allocated for parking for the 4-H building last year could be allocated towards this project. And then also ET Gathering pilot program, there's $100,000 that should be received associated with that we could associate that cost, that revenue with this project. That'd bring us to a total of $450,000. Currently, I estimate the project to be in the range of $850,000, just to get us a covered arena with the bare necessities, such as maybe some lighting and maybe some ventilation and small necessities. This would pay for the foundations, would be fairly significant for a clear span structure this size, as well as like a prefab metal building. And I included a couple of pictures in your packet that kind of showed a fancier version with a little more landscaping than a bare bones version. The bare bones would probably be what we're looking at with this first phase. The equestrian board, the Equine Promotion Board, has alluded that this is an annual grant that they have year in and year out, and they encourage us to apply for future grants. So there should be an opportunity. We're not guaranteed anything, of course, but they, maybe to add some bleachers, add some fans or whatever, add working pins and things like that, could be associated with that grant funding. In addition to, we also have other partners such as Expand and other privately owned businesses that may contribute to smaller aspects of the project. You know, they might bite off, you know, allocating or donating a portion of money for pens or restrooms or a concession stand facility or something smaller of that scale. So that's what we're looking at this time, and we just wanted to bring this to the jury for the full discussion and see if you would support allocating some additional funds to get us up to that $850,000 mark, and then allowing us to move forward with design and construction. At this time, it's a very, very rough estimate, and as far as the cost, but you know, we have a lot of flexibility to what we can include in phase one and what we don't have to include in phase one. So I think we have some flexibility to keep it in cost. It's just a matter of how much we can build as part of that phase one, such as additional parking and things like that.
Michael, is this gonna be the area, you know, Mr. Burrell been speaking about the arena for the longest? Is this gonna be in that same area?
Honestly, the biggest question I've contemplated in my mind is the location. And I think, and I would love to see it complement the existing building where the two can be used simultaneously, such as if you're having a county or parish fair, or, you know, in the future, such as you have your horses and cows out in the main barn, and you have your pigs and goats and so forth showing in the interior building, that they can work together and they won't be in two separate facilities and two separate occasions, that it can all complement each other together. And that can happen either to the east of the current location, which would be the old pea patch, or it could happen to the north of the current building. That's really open for discussion, and as we have some topographic studies that have been done in the past of that area. We have a drainage to consider that comes through that area, so we can look at those things. I'd probably lean a little bit towards the north. That would resolve the issue about any potential conflict to the east, that being that pea patch area. And but it is a little bit lower ground, and you'd have to contend with some drainage and so forth, which I think can be done. But that's still fluid. It can be. We can discuss that as we move forward, as we bring some final plans and things like that.
Okay.
And of course, this will venture outside that property is split up into lots, and y'all allocated that one lot to the 4-H building in '83 or something like that. This would be outside that lot, so we would have to entertain, you know, dedicating some property to this building, you know, outside of that lot that the 4-H building sits on.
So the upkeep,
Go ahead.
upkeep of this particular arena, who will be responsible for that?
At this time, the jury. And I mean, there might be a possibility we work something else out with other organizations, but at this time, it's set up to be the jury.
Okay.
I kind of discussed this a little bit. I've been discussing it quite a bit with Michael and Michael Norton also, but, you know, he discussed putting it to the east of the existing 4-H building, and also possibly using towards the north. And, of course, we have that drainage ditch we were talking about. But the drainage ditch, we could build over the drainage ditch and put drainage under the arena, and it wouldn't affect the arena. Whereas otherwise, that would be property that would be not usable at all, is the drainage ditch. You wouldn't want to build a building over it, you know, a permanent structure, but something that could straddle the ditch and then have drainage going under the arena. I don't see that it would hurt the, and use, you know, property that's not usable for anything else.
As well as that property used to have an arena on it within, you know, 10 to 15 years ago, an arena existed, an open air arena with no top, you know, existed on that property already. So it'd almost be utilizing it for the same purpose that it was 15 years ago.
Okay.
So I have a question. So in my mind, I'm visualizing what you're saying, kind of like being able to show, you know, the children showing their animals and like a county, like you said, a county fair, similar type thing. Because I think like now, where do the children go? They don't.
The existing building used to be a barn with a dirt floor.
It is.
And it, you know, that's what the original intent or scope of it was, and it's been concreted since then. And
Okay.
they still do the same thing at that facility, but it doesn't work quite as well with the
No.
cattle on the
Yeah,
slick
no,
concrete floors and so
no.
forth like that. They put down some conveyor belts and AstroTurf and things like
Okay.
that currently. But it's a good
Okay.
question, because the facility currently can be, I talked to Miss Amy, the 4-H agent, and she pointed out some activities. They hosted a ATV safety course years ago out in that field, but it was such broad sunlight, it was, miserably hot. So they're, that's a activity Mike can administer, is offering those safety programs for ATVs. You have the current shooting sports, you have the current horse club, you have the livestock club, and we can probably think of 5 or 6 more. That's just specifically with the 4-H organizations, those particular clubs that exist today that would utilize the facility.
Okay. Okay.
And, ma'am,
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Ross.
and also, don't forget about mentioning the rodeos,
Right.
Yes.
the rodeo.
Yeah, I spelled out some language in here. If we wanted to have full-on rodeos, I modeled this structure. It says ideally 250 by 175. It's a fairly large structure. If y'all know the old Double R Arena, it's larger than what that structure was. But most rodeo facilities will have a lean-to off the back, or this in our scenario would be to the north, where you have those additional roping pins and pins for the livestock to be, housed until they're needed at the rodeo and things like that. You may not have all that room in this facility at phase 1. That might be something, if we wanted to regularly host full rodeo events and
Right.
things like that, of course, that'd be further on in phase
Yeah,
2
right.
and so forth.
But and also, horse shows begin to be a big deal, gated horse shows. So you got people just like in the 4-H, they travel all over also for gated horse shows. And yeah, they bring a lot of revenue to the parish by hotel staying,
Right.
food, whatnot.
Yeah, I talked with Miss Amy about building something smaller, like a practice arena, and she was fairly disappointed with that conversation, because she said, no, if we're gonna build something,
Right.
we need to be able to have a full activity there where
Right.
we can, host an event here and so forth like that. But
And it'll be able to transform into many things, in the future.
So we need to see about coming up with another $400,000 if we could then.
Right. And that can be flexible, if we want to do more in phase 1, we can allocate more. There might be a possibility to do less, but I wouldn't want to shrink that number too much, because we're gonna have access driveways and things like that, as well as this is estimating about $600,000 for the building itself, plus the concrete foundations, and then hopefully having some left over for lighting and access points. But
Is there other grants that might could be applied to go to like economic development?
we've been continually looking into the opportunities, such as with the $125,000 we received at the last legislative session. We said we'll definitely apply for the next round of the equine money.
Yeah.
The equine money is the only funds that we currently have that have a time limit on it. We really need to use those funds by the end of this year.
Okay.
We may be, if we're hire a consultant to design the concrete foundations, or maybe put a deposit on the building, we might not break ground this year, but we can at least put the money towards those things, is what our hopes may be. And there's a possibility we could break ground this year if everything went smoothly. Yeah, absolutely, would continue to look into all funding opportunities for it. I would think there's lots of funding opportunities for small amounts of money to bite off some of those small concession stands, bleachers.
Right, yeah.
Fans for inside and things like that, but the large sums of money are a little bit harder to come by.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Yes, ma'am,
I have-
go right ahead.
Okay, I understand, discussing, which we are, and taking action. So I understand you're saying that the first part of the grant, the 50,000?
Yes, ma'am.
So that, we have to go ahead and use that, right?
Yes.
So that's what you're saying, to at least get a consultant to maybe draw up something,
I'm
plan something, but utilizing that money.
right.
But as far as the additional monies, we're not gonna take action on that part of it tonight, are we?
We could take action if someone wants to make a motion to go ahead. I would say we have $450,000 now. I would say let's go ahead and get started with it, and then see how much more money we need as we go along. The $450,000 would go a long ways to getting us started, and then we could see about getting more grant, or if we have to come up with more money to finish it, do that at a later date.
I would think the building itself we'd need to be able to allocate, like I said, $600,000 towards the building. And to sign a contract, we'd have to have your okay to allocate that amount of money. And Ms. Lilly would have to make sure I'm staying straight on that path. But
Yeah.
we would need an allocation for that first contract. If we were to sign that building contract or that construction contract, we'd need to, have the authority to do that at that time. But there might be some small upfront studies that we can do, but when we get ready to put the purchase of that building or contract the purchase of that building.
Well, I make a motion, we see if we could come up with another $150,000 to add to what we have, to make it an even $600,000 to get started. Take that before the full jury next 2 weeks from now and see what we can come up with.
Would you consider and putting the remainder in the 26 budget? Or-
Well, we can discuss that, I guess, next
Okay.
2 weeks from now, but at least to get it go forward, I make a motion, we go with the 600,000 right now.
I'll second it.
And actually utilizing that $50,000 would give us the opportunity to apply for that grant. If
that's
we don't
right.
spend that 50,000, it'd be very unlikely they'd give us more.
Okay, so I have an alternate motion and a second. Alternate motion is to allocate another $150,000 to the $450 we have now to make it $600,000 to get going with it. Any more discussion? Any discussion on the alternate motion? Yes.
Michael, did I hear you say that the 175 from pilot program was not yet dedicated to this, and that the other
We have to
100,000 was not dedicated to it? Or allocated to
Yeah,
it?
that might be good language, that we go ahead and allocate, that part of the motion, that $100,000.
Yes, and then we have to, somewhere in a motion, either, I guess, for the next meeting or however y'all want to do it, we have to reallocate that 175 that was originally for the parking lot that you voted on
Okay,
last
see.
year.
That's,
That has to be reallocated
see, that's
to
what I
the
was confused on.
arena. Now, on the other money, we haven't received that, but we need somewhere that when that is received, that's supposed to go to the arena too.
So we're going to redirect the 175,000 that's on the parking lot
To the cover arena, yes.
Well, if that's part of what you're attempting to do today, that would need to
Okay.
be in the alternate motion.
Okay.
That wouldn't,
Okay.
my understanding that Mr. Holmes was just trying to get approval for another 150 for the police jury, but if you're actually talking about trying to reallocate at this meeting for the 175 and make an allocation for 100, that would have to be part of the motion if that's what you want to vote on next meeting.
Yeah, let's make a motion, an alternate motion then to reallocate the $175,000 for the parking. Go directly to the arena.
a
be
desi-
used in whatever it needs to be used for.
and the designation of the ET gathering funds, which are 100,
Okay.
and then an allocation of an additional 150 in addition to the 175, and, well, just,
150 from the general fund?
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
where, the only place we can
That's
take
the
it
only
out
place
of.
we can take it.
Now, y'all may want to, say somewhere if this is something y'all want to take out of the economic development fund that we have within the general fund. Or if y'all just want this straight out of, the general.
do you happen to know right now what's in the economic development?
I don't. But I know we did a resolution that every year we will have, up to $2 million a year based on collections, and anything else outside of that we will put aside. So, I mean, there is money.
That was my recollection, that's why I asked
Yes.
Lily.
But we don't have to know that right now. We can discuss that later, right?
We can.
Okay.
This is what I have for the motion. Authorize the engineer staff to proceed with moving forward with plans for the covered arena and allocate the monies from the parking lot to be allocated to help cover the cost in the amount of $175,000, and allocate the ET gathering pilot program funds in the amount of $100,000 to this project, and allocate another $150,000 from the economic development fund.
Well,
From the general
No.
fund.
General fund,
Okay.
right now. We'll discuss whether it comes out of
Whether it's
economic
gonna come
development
from
later.
under
yeah, you can do general, and then if, at the voting meeting, if, once you have the figures, if you change your mind, you could do an amended
Is that still
motion.
your motion, Mr. Holmes? Instead of
Yes.
Mr. Nick?
Mr. Raines.
Mr. Raines, you seconding the new motion?
You still with us?
Yeah.
He may have dropped out after all that. Any discussion, any more discussion on that item? If not, we'll vote for that.
Oh, I thought I had hit it. Sorry.
All right, motion passed. All right, item number 6. Discuss and take action on whether or not to exercise the DeSoto Parish Police Jury's first right of a refusal on former jury property located at 132 West Industrial Park Drive. I hear a motion?
So move for discussion.
That's second.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Ross, a second by Mr. Jones. Any discussion on this item?
This the property that's right next to, the airport, right? That's,
Right there on the corner is the Tanmar
Tanmore used to be the old,
property.
property.
Yes.
Did they have an old mill there? Was that the property with the old lumber mill?
Didn't know.
Oh, that's not
Property
it?
on the corner.
Right on the very corner
Right on the corner.
of the highway.
Oh, okay.
Big two-story building.
Oh, okay.
According to our first right of a refusal, we have the right of first refusal or first option to purchase may be exercised by the DeSoto Parish Police Jury within 90 days of receipt of said notification. And in the event we do elect to exercise the right of first refusal or first option, the property shall be sold at the price of $6,000 per acre, payable in cash at the time of closing. If any improvements have been placed on the property while owned by 5B Ventures LLC, improvements are immovable, then the said immovable improvements shall be valued at the appraisal value as determined by the DeSoto Parish assessor at the time the property is offered for sale.
So the notice was officially sent to the jury at the end of last week. I don't recall the exact date. I think it was either Thursday or Friday.
You get a motion on that yet?
Yeah.
Yes, you made a motion, Mr. Ross made a motion, you second. I don't know how anybody else feels, but personally, I feel like first right of a refusal. It was put in the deed for us to have first right of refusal, and we have the option to buy the property. The price was already established in the deed, and I feel like we need to purchase the property. Yes, Mr. Adams.
So I found out about this deal Tuesday, I believe it was, and Mr. Maurice Bledsoe is here with Mark Peeler, his broker agent, whatever. And I'll try to, and you may want to ask them to step up to the microphone and speak at this point, and they can give you a synopsis of the what's intended to happen. They're trying to sell the property to another operator, TC of Acadia, oil and gas operator, who has expressed to them that they are intending to open up shop there and continue with new employees. Tanmar has moved just down the road and continuing their operations. It appeared to me that the reason the jury has that right of first refusal in there is so that the property does not get lost or not used and utilized for industrial park purposes, for employment, for having people working there. It's not intended for the jury, I would think, and this is my guess, that the jury didn't intend to make investment property for people. We tried to make property where people could operate businesses in a fashion that is conducive to businesses. It's better for the whole parish to have employees, and so it's my understanding that TC of Acadia is doing it to do just that. Like I said, I just learned about this project, and they've been trying to close for about a month now, and the buyers have come up with all of those conditions, and the right of first refusal is one of the conditions. The buyer wants the jury also to stipulate in a binding fashion that the jury would not authorize oil and gas operations to be conducted on the surface of that 16 acres. In other words, Grant BXP has the lease on this property. The jury in its original mineral lease has the right to approve or disapprove where they do their surface operations. So the buyer is simply asking the jury, guarantee us that you won't approve surface operations on the 16 acres that they're buying for approximately $1.5 million. And so that's the gist of the, come on up.
Yes, sir. My name is Maurice Bledsoe, and whenever I purchased this piece of property, I don't even know what year it was. I want to say it was in '09. Miss Nida Richardson, we were here, and she was trying to establish the industrial park through selling lots on it or selling pieces of property on it and bringing active employment to the parish is my assumption, of which we did that. I'm also one of the former owners of Tanmar, and while I have sold out of Tanmar, I'm attempting to sell this piece of property that I've always assumed belonged to me. But now I'm slowly finding out that it might not have belonged to me. And I did, and we have done multiple improvements on the property, of which the property itself At just raw acreage, I think appraised at somewhere around $6,000 an acre. But the improvements on the property appraised for, I think, $1.43 million. And I'm trying to sell the property to another service company that is wanting to move into the area. And I'll just roughly say they're going to employ 100+ people within this area. And obviously that would add to your economy. And we're just pleading to try to get the piece of property sold. And like I said, I purchased this property quite a few years ago, assuming that it was mine, and now we're just trying to sell it and move on and allow another business to come in here and establish itself while Tanmar moves across the street, and allowing these other folks to come in here and do the things that they need be to hopefully add to your economy. So if there might be any other further questions for me, here I am. So
Yeah, I have a question. You signed this agreement with the item number 4 there that says that it would be sold back to us if we elected to buy it at this price of $6,000 an acre. You said that you didn't realize that was in there, I guess, because you didn't know that you were going to have to offer it to us first. Mr. Adams said the reason it was probably put in there was so the property wouldn't be, what did you say?
Real estate investment?
You said that it wouldn't just fall by the wayside or something other. Okay, so will this item, this line item number 4, will it go into the new deed? That it will come back to us as first option from the new owner? Otherwise, what was put in here to keep the property just from falling by the wayside will be gone.
There is a waiver of operations, the second issue, and in the waiver language, do you have that, that loose sheet that was that right there? On the back, the last page of this, the last page is a property description. The last paragraph in the waiver of right to conduct surface operations.
Oh, you're
This
talking
is-
about the,
Correct. This instrument does not alter the terms and conditions set forth in the cash deed by the DeSoto Parish Police Jury to 5B Ventures, recorded April 9, 2009, file number 661210, book and page, DeSoto Parish. So this waiver of specifically includes the terms and conditions of the original sale in it. Now, are you asking me as a legal opinion whether or not that would bind TC of Acadia to have to offer it back to the jury when they sell it?
yes, that's what I'm asking. Do we still get the first right of refusal
Right.
if they decide to sell the property?
It would have to be in the deed documents, I believe, to be certain of that.
Yeah, it's gotta be put in there, right?
Well, I think it needs to be in
Yeah,
there
it needs to
then.
be put in there.
Because as you said, we're trying to keep this property from falling by the wayside to where it's not being productive or not being used as industrial property. And the only way we could do that is to continue having a right of refusal. It was put in here for some reason. As you said, we've got first right of refusal on it. But if we forfeit that now and let Mr. Bledsoe sell it to someone else, then are we gonna forfeit our first right of a refusal?
What I can tell you is that the buyer's attorney prepared this document and altered it to this afternoon to include that language in the deed. Now, again, that does not mean that that specific right of first refusal is in their deed at this point. I don't know, Mr. Bledsoe, if you want to address that issue or whether you think that's a deal breaker for TC of Acadia or whether they would go for it, I don't know.
You know, I'm not 100% sure of that, and I don't want to say I would guarantee because it's not in writing, but my assumption would be that if I'm paying $1.5 million for a piece of property, I'm not gonna allow it to just go by the wayside. I mean, and those were never my intent. That was never my intent, and I would assume that would never be their intent. All they're wanting to do is move on to that piece of property and employ people and do whatever they can to make their business work. And they are an established business, and they have multiple locations, but this is one that they've chosen to move to and bring added employment to your economy. So, but other than that, I don't know that I can guarantee anything.
Probably the only way you could guarantee it is if we bought the property and brokered the deal and then turned back around and sold it to them and included that in the closing documents.
Yes, sir. Well, I don't know how that would work, to be honest with you. And I think in good faith. I mean, these are good people. They're not people that are. I wouldn't spend $1.5 million and intend to allow anything to happen to that property.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of experience with industrial park purchases of land, but I'm gonna check
Yes,
into
sir.
it and see what some of these other municipalities are doing. I'm sure they've got something in there to protect themselves, to keep this from reoccurring.
Yep.
But even still, wouldn't stop us from doing,
No, I mean, if we could speak with the company and we could broker the deal and put a little
right.
caveat to it and we could do it. There's no doubt about that. But is that necessary? And based on what I'm seeing, that might be what we have to do in order to secure this in the next document.
What if we add and keep in the right of first purchase in the,
Yeah, why don't we talk to them?
what if we just keep that in the deed?
We can just keep it in the deed.
That's what I was talking
would
about,
almost-
keep it in the
Yeah,
deed.
keep it in the deed.
Yeah.
And
That would
if
probably
you
be
sell it to
easy.
them, a cash deed
And
or
if
whatever.
they request a
and they buy it,
modification to the deed, then we need to be notified.
Yes,
That's
sir.
all- That's,
Same
I think
thing.
that's
But
absolutely.
this right here, as far as I can tell, all of this is just to, not conduct any oil and gas mineral, drilling on the property. I don't see anything else in this piece of paper. Just surface rights.
I'm pretty sure we can have the first right of refusal written in the deed,
Or just keep the deed as is?
or just leave it as is,
yeah.
And to mention, on top of that, the buyer of this property is also gonna bring in another company in the back portion of it. So there's gonna be two companies on one property, which is gonna add even more employment.
We just have to make sure that we're covered prior to,
As long as it's in the deed that 5B sells to TC of Acadia with that right of first refusal still retained by the jury.
There's no reason why, there's really no reason I can think of for the new owner, after he takes possession of this property as the landlord and owner, that he would have an issue with you all having the right of first purchase option if and when the time does come to sell it. There's that.
That should solve it, right?
I'm pretty sure we can do, yeah.
I would think so, yeah.
I would feel comfortable saying it's
A
valid.
new appraisal would have to happen. We got an appraisal done, and so per what Mr. Bledsoe has been saying, the land fell within $4,000 of the $6,000 an acre. Improvements, 1.43 million, so 153. I've been doing this a long time, and I don't see an issue if I'm the buyer acquiring this property, that I would have with that.
Could we, make a motion, an alternate motion to, include the waiver, right to conduct surface operations, include the waiver, that's been offered to us by Mr. Adams, and also
I'm just the messenger.
we would forfeit our first right of refusal as long as it's going forward in the new deed. And also, when it comes time to close on it and sign the deed, our lawyers will be present to make sure that happens.
No problem.
Absolutely.
Me?
Well, either of
Yeah.
them, she can do it.
Yeah.
That's my alternate motion, if anybody wants to
Do we
say.
have to- Do we have to put in the surface?
Yes, it includes it.
Okay.
We're going
I'll
to
put it in.
So I
add
guess,
this to it.
so the question for the jury is whether or not y'all agree that you would not authorize BPX or any other operator to conduct surface operations on this 16 acres. That's,
Right.
by agreeing to allow Mr. Jones to sign this, that's what you're doing.
Right.
Okay?
That's right.
And then the,
Because we have that right by our oil, gas, mineral lease.
correct.
I second the motion.
All right, I have an alternate, a motion by myself and a second by Mr. Baker. Any more discussion on the alternate motion?
And we're just forfeiting this one time buy. This one.
One time buy.
Well, we're forfeiting our right to purchase from Mr. Bledsoe, but it will be transferred in the new deed to the new owner. We'll still have first right refusal on that if he decides to not go forward.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
Roll call vote. Mr. Baker?
Aye.
Mr. Ross?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye, I'm sorry, I was reading.
All right, it passed unanimous.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, I don't think we have anything else on the administrative committee agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn administrative committee? Have a motion, second?
Second.
Have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed. Very good.
Road committee called order. Any call for additions and deletions to the road committee? Being none, any guests and public comments to the road committee? Being none, road item number 1. Discuss truck route study and report on Metcalf Road and take action to determine truck route, basic overlay. Discussion. So we have did a study on this particular road. It have 2 significant turn radius on it. And the landowners on Metcalf, was willing to work with the jury. But after looking at the study, that we're gonna have to encroach a little bit more than expected on their property. So that will not work. You got something you want to add to it, Mr. Wright, Michael? So my thoughts is simple, just do a basic overlay.
And Mr. Ross summarized it pretty well. We currently have $1.6 million in the budget for Metcalf Road. The intentions of that was a truck route. I do not recall if we ever officially voted on making that a truck route, but that's what was put in the budget. That's how that was budgeted. We conducted this study and report to see what the extent of an outside opinion would be on making that a truck route. We'd have to encroach, the center line of roadway would have to encroach on the adjacent landowners 78 feet roughly in those radiuses, and there's two 90-degree curves out there currently. The existing radius is about 115 feet. We'd have to change that to 300 and some odd feet for the radius of that curve. So that's the big hitch. We also have some widening of the roadway, some additional. Plan B is, 9-foot lanes with a 2-foot shoulder. Plan C that you see in the report is 10-foot lanes with a 5-foot shoulder. And it comes pretty close. The Plan Cs are 1.6. It hits pretty close to our estimated cost, but it would be we would have, like Mr. Ross said, the landowners would like to cooperate as much as possible, but they're not willing to give that much property for a truck route at this time, and would like us to proceed with just a simple overlay of the road and not entertain the truck route at this time.
Is it needed as a alternate truck route?
Currently, the trucks are on Kyle Porter.
Yeah.
And this would be, the intent was to remove the trucks from Kyle Porter and move the trucks to Metcalf. Currently, most of Kyle Porter is an industrial road. There's only, I think, one existing residence on Kyle Porter.
Right.
Most of the residents that are affected are on LA 513, not Kyle Porter. And so that, and currently Metcalf is all agricultural and residential. So that was my first red flag, was moving truck traffic from somewhat of an industrial area to more of a residential agriculture area, even though it is further out of town, you know, but that'd be kind of the land uses that currently exist on those two roads.
Right.
Wasn't Kyle Porter recently just redone
Yes.
to
Yes.
justify the big trucks?
Right,
Right.
soil cement and asphalt was placed on a year and a half ago.
Isn't this the,
And it's a mile versus a mile and a half.
And not wanting to skip to the chase, but it seems to me like the honest, best thing to do is just to overlay it, as is.
Right, that would be my recommendation. We proceed with just an overlay and not the truck route.
Start there?
and I was, isn't there a big tree that has to be moved or something?
The
They're
biggest
very-
thing are those curves.
It's the
Those
curve.
drainage.
But it seemed like there was a big tree right in one of those curves.
I think it blew down by the storm, I
Oh,
believe.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but there is, in the second curve, you had,
Yeah,
that
it's
first
curve.
curve you come to is the big tree that's gone
Right.
now.
Yeah.
But the second curve's a full pipe fence and some
Yeah.
trees that would have to be removed as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'd have to reconstruct the pipe fence and so forth, but.
So
And
what-
also, it's a spring on one of the curves also.
Ugh, yeah.
So,
So are we trying to level out that curve?
No, ma'am.
We'd
Just-
basically straighten it out, you know,
It's
it
just-
comes to a sharp hairpin curve.
Yeah, I know.
For it to be a truck route, we'd want to smooth that curve, and you'd have to, you know, move on to the adjacent property to do that. But if the jury would be willing, I'd like to, as soon, you know, we have the budget in this year's, it's budgeted in this year's budget to move forward, and I'd like to have your permission to move forward with a basic overlay, and do patch and overlay, or there's some widening that had to take place where the edge of the roads broke off and things of that nature, and get that brought up to jury standard as
but that won't be no
a
more than
non-truck route.
4 or 5 feet though.
No,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking,
And that's what the property owners were agreeable to?
Yeah.
when I say widening within the existing right, we have a 60-foot right-of-way out there currently. And we'd be, all that work would be adjacent to the existing road within the existing right-of-way.
So as it stands right now, it's just not suffice enough to withstand what we're trying to, what's needing to be done.
Right.
Right.
Without significant improvements.
Yeah.
So I would like to, if there's no more discussion, I'd like to take actions on just a basic overlay. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
What was your motion?
To basic overlay on Metcalf Road.
To authorize the road department to do a basic overlay on Metcalf Road, do I need to put as a non-truck route?
Correct.
Okay. You made that motion?
With signs, no trucks.
Was there a second?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mr.
we got a
Stacy.
second.
Isn't what Ms. Burrell trying to, one of her reasons was to divert trucks to using that particular road?
Using Metcalf
Right, using
Yes.
Metcalf that would save Cal Porter Road?
to save Cal Porter.
Yeah, but if we don't have the property to straighten the radiuses out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know. And number two, if we did allocate to fix Metcalf a truck route, 513 is a state highway.
Right,
So we can't shut that down.
Right.
Trucks are still gonna travel on 513.
yeah.
No matter
Either
what
way
you
it
do.
go.
Either way it goes.
So they're still gonna be heavily using Cal Porter.
Well, it's gonna be the same.
It's
Cal
gonna be
Porter.
the same.
Right.
But Metcalf is going to be non-truck use.
Right. But if we reverse that and use Metcalf as only truck traffic, supposedly through the parish, but we can't control state highways. They still would come down with that, Louise Street and hit 513 and still come down.
You and I
What,
share this road. Don't we share this road?
Yes.
We share this road.
They don't go through any streets in town from 513 over to Metcalf Road?
No, it'll be
No.
Gibb Street downtown, and they would turn on 513.
513.
So they do travel some
Oh, yeah.
town streets.
Right. Well, not town, it's coming, all state highway.
Okay.
Yeah. In front of Progressive Bank, at the light, they would take a left, come down and make a right on Oxford, 513.
Okay. So really, we have no other option.
No,
Let's either maintain both or maintain one for truck traffic.
exactly.
That's it.
No, if we made Metcalf Road truck traffic road, we could control it because we would cut out Kyle Porter as being truck traffic.
Right.
But you can't cut out 513.
But you can't cut out the other end.
Well, we can't cut out 513, but we can cut out Metcalf.
Oh, yes, no
Kyle
doubt.
Porter.
Right.
So, yeah, we can control that.
But they'll come down 513 off of Gibbs, like they're doing now.
And we've already done the improvements on Kyle Porter.
Yeah, I understand.
So there's no more discussion? Please vote. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Justice. Second by Mr. Holmes. All in favor, aye? Aye. We'll adjourn from the road committee.
Call the Solid Waste Committee to order. Call for any additions or deletions to the agenda. Hearing none, any guest or public comment? Hearing none. First item for solid waste is to authorize a transfer of $1 million from the Solid Waste Fund to the CD at Community Bank of Louisiana to cover the new estimated cost for Amendment Number 9 of the Standby Trust Agreement with Community Bank of Louisiana for post-closure of the Monday landfill pursuant to LDEQ requirements.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, y'all vote now, please. Motion passes. Item 2, authorize the president to sign a waste supply agreement extension request for Upland Road developers as it relates to the development of the recycling center in DeSoto Parish.
So moved.
Have a motion. I have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, y'all please vote now. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Motion. Second. Have a second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Have a good evening.
Very good.
Wow.